What is going on, guys? Craig1287 here, bringing you yet another Battlefield 4 gameplay. Going on there in the background, you're going to be witnessing a defense round in Rush while I use the PDW-R, one of the engineer PDWs. And as I said before in my previous video, I'm going to be doing some videos to showcase a slew of the new weapons, specifically looking at the PDW class, as well as some of the others, because they have been immensely impacted by this new patch. Now, the PDW-R, I wanted to start with this one, not because it is the most affected by the patch. It's actually not too affected, but it's one that, before the patch, it was kind of one that blurred the lines between being a PDW for the engineer class and being a carbine or an assault rifle. And that's because the damage model, it was the same for the maximum amount, and that has now dropped from 25 to 24, like pretty much all of the other 25 damage weapons. But its minimum damage has stayed the same, and its minimum damage is just a little bit higher than all the PDWs that are available to the engineer class, and that's what makes it kind of that weapon that put it in line with a lot of other carbines. And with the patch, sadly it didn't see an increase in its bullet velocity. Its bullet velocity is still the same, which is somewhat a hindrance for it in being effective at medium to long range. The velocity on it is still 460 meters per second, but it did get a buff to its suppressed muzzle velocity. It is now at 320 meters per second, which is a fairly slight increase from 280. So it's a little better suppressed, and as a PDW, which is great for close range, you know, that whole suppressor kind of stuff really does help, because these weapons are great for those close quarters, and you're more likely to be seen on people's mini-maps, and they're more likely to be very cognizant of where you are on the mini-map the closer you are to them. If you're on the very edges of their mini-map, people are not really going to care. By the time they even get to you, you'll probably be in a different location. So, suppressor stuff for the PDWs are great. So it's nice to see that it did get an increase of 40. It's not the largest amount, but you know, it's a little bit that can assist it. What did assist the PDW-R was its hip fire, pretty much in all cases, while moving and while standing still. It also saw some increases in its aim down sight. This gun, especially in its aim down sight, this gun is just a great gun for someone on the move. Again, because of that damage model, because the minimum damage is just higher than all the other PDWs, it's great for an engineer that wants something that is very effective at close range, because its hip fire is just deadly. It's got some of the best hip fire in the entire game. Pretty much, if you're looking at its hip fire while standing, you've got, while not moving, you've got a .75 for its hip fire. That's almost half than a lot of the carbines out there that are rocking around like 1.5. It's just a fantastic gun for hip fire. You really do not need a laser sight for this gun, because again, that'll just give your position away at range. If you don't want to have to worry about toggling it on and off and on and off and on and off, just run without it, and this gun is a hipfire beast. But again, it is incredibly versatile because it does have that decent damage model, and it also trails off a lot further or slower than do a lot of the other PDWs. And so this gun is just it's a great merger. If you want a weapon that's versatile as an engineer without having to go into the carbine range, and you want to still keep something that has incredible hip fire, the PDW-R is a great option. Now, it still has a slightly slow reload time for both empty and rounds left in the chamber. If you've got rounds left in the chamber, it's 2.5 seconds. If it's an empty, it's a 3.4, which is pretty rough. but there's definitely worse things out there when you're looking into close range weapons. And the rate of fire is 750. I mean, that's right on the money for something like the M416. It's got that perfect balance. It's just fast enough to be effective in close range, and it's just slow enough to where you can still get those aim down sight medium to long range kills. You're not going to have to worry about this thing bouncing all the way, all around the place, because like I said, in this recent patch, it did receive a reduction in its recoil, pretty much all around. The spread, it got reduced quite a lot. We're talking from 0.7 to 0.525, 0.5 to 0.45, 0.5 to 4.5. I mean, it's just a pretty good decrease in the ADS spread. So, guys, if you haven't, even before the patch, this gun was a pretty good gun. Not a lot of people used it though. Now, after the patch, you've got to check this out. The ADS improvements are just handy, and it still has that great low-end damage range for the PDW class. If you want something that has the versatility of a carbine, but is just that ever so slightly better at hip fire, this is the gun for you. You've got to try this thing out. It's actually a pretty fun weapon to use. Of course, you can't really use your own grip. That is something that is hard-coded into the game. You are stuck with the grip that it gives you, but you can toss on a suppressor, and the gun actually looks pretty cool with a suppressor on it, not gonna lie. I enjoy the look of the gun. So guys, hope you've enjoyed the gameplay, and hope you enjoyed the commentary. Go check out the PDW-R. It's a pretty interesting gun. It's a unique weapon in the PDW class. So check it out. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one. Ta-ta.